Hello and welcome to a special episode of Cybernet. Today we'll check out our favorite games in 4 of the hottest genres of the year. So join me, Steve Truitt, for another all-star edition of Cybernet. We kick off this week's show with one of the fastest growing segments in the video game industry, extreme sports. And splashing down into our number 5 spot on the GameCube is Wave Race Blue Storm. This beautifully rendered game lets you cruise the waterways and literally swim with the fishes. The intricate undersea life and environments are astonishing, and the wave physics have to be seen to be believed. With a random occurrence of waves ranging from calm to nasty, gamers can expect some turbulent times ahead. Not only are there plenty of races to compete in, you can perform dozens of rolls, flips, and jumps. The watercrafts react with fluid precision, allowing you to pull off all kinds of crazy acrobatic moves. Wave Race Blue Storm makes all other water-oriented games seem all wet. Cybernet's number 4 extreme sports game of the year is set in the fantastic far-out future. Jet Set Radio Future on the Xbox is actually a sequel to a game that caught everyone's attention with its striking cel-shaded comic book style and urban street atmosphere. Just like in the original, the game blends extreme sports with a 3D platform where you perform stunts and grinds on magnetically boosted inline skates. And while you race around, you'll spray your gang's graffiti tags on everything from buildings to buses. Everything from the game mechanics to the Tokyo City landscapes to the graphics have been improved. Some might complain that Jet Set Radio Future is too easy, but we had fun performing all those mind-boggling vertical grinds. This is one game that's got all the right moves. Pedaling into the 3rd slot in our Extreme Sports Top 5 is Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX 2 on the GameCube and PlayStation 2. This sequel lets you control over 10 top pro riders and pull off tricks in 8 enormous destinations which are populated with cars, pedestrians, helicopters, and more. So what separates this game from other biking sports sims? Well, the graphics are plush and the environments are larger and more interactive. Basically, if you can see it and dream it, you can trick off of it. The control scheme is also very responsive. With just a few button presses, you'll be performing the wildest tricks imaginable. There are many challengers out there, but Cybernet is confident in awarding Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX 2 the best biking game to date. Rolling into the 2nd spot on our extreme sports list is Aggressive Inline for the GameCube, Xbox, and PS2. Similar to many sports games, you'll pick a skater and perform tricks, earning rep and unlocking areas to broaden the game's scope and your skills. The controls are complex, but with enough practice, you'll be pulling off gravity-defying stunts in no time at all. What truly sets this game apart is the player's ability to raise their attributes. Spend too much time grinding, and your other skills might suffer from neglect. This offers plenty of incentive to learn other moves instead of sticking to a learned pattern. We would have liked the game to be a bit more outrageous, but overall, Aggressive Inline is a smooth beginning to a new extreme franchise. And tipping the scales as the king of extreme for 2002 is none other than skateboarding wizard Tony Hawk, who's back for more outrageous tricks in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on the PC and all 3 consoles. If you've already button-bashed your way through Pro Skater 3, you're probably wondering if you really need another Tony Hawk game. Well, it might be time to donate your older game to your kid brother, because the developers at Neversoft have created the best Tony Hawk title to date. To begin with, there's a new physics engine at work. Tricks are more dynamic, and the movements of the skaters appear ultra-realistic. Plus, the speed has been cranked up, letting you zoom through the absolutely enormous environments with reckless abandon. Thanks to improved player animations and interactive environments, all the outrageous maneuvers look and feel spot on. So you can perform ollies, wall rides, and lip tricks anywhere and everywhere. And with 190 goals to accomplish, it'll take a while for even the most experienced player to conquer all this game has to offer. Best of all, there's a very cool two-player mode which lets you play old favorites like Graffiti and Trick Attack. Along with career mode, there are a handful of additional game options to explore, like the new skate park editor, where you can assemble your dream park. Of course, designing your own park doesn't necessarily mean you'll be any better at pulling off stunts. There's massive competition out there in the extreme sports market, so it's great to see the developers of the series once again push their title up a notch, leaving everyone else to eat dirt. Mr. Hawk is still the man. We now move onward to the fighting genre, which has been a video game fixture for 20 years. And moonsaulting onto the PlayStation 2 as our number 5 pick of the year is WWE SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, the most extensive grappling game to date. All the standards for an excellent title are here. Various match types like hardcore, where pinfalls count anywhere, both inside and outside the ring, and TLC matches, which stands for tables, ladders, and chairs. All the top wrestlers are here, so here's your chance to grapple with the best and enjoy some extreme thrills. WWE SmackDown Shut Your Mouth is an exceptional wrestling title. Although not as graphically realistic as Raw, the mini mode options more than makes up for this. Our next fighting favorite is the latest version of a well-known series. It's Virtua Fighter 4 for the PlayStation 2. Fans will be happy to know that this edition is easily the best yet, sporting both graphical and gameplay improvements. All the classic characters from previous installments return to the game, as well as 2 new ones. Aside from the typical arcade and versus modes, there's also a special Kumite mode. In it, you battle as many enemies as possible while trying to avoid getting knocked out. You'll also earn special attributes and items to accentuate fighters you create in the character building section. Cool, destructible environments and awesome moves make Virtua Fighter 4 a winner in our books. Our third favorite fighting game of the year goes to those Nintendo brawlers from Super Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube. Here you'll slug it out in some of the most fondly remembered video game settings of yesteryear, from the planet in Metroid to the 8-bit levels of Super Mario. Throw in some cool moves and even cooler power-ups like the mallets and laser guns, and you have a sequel that pulls out all the stops. Even the one-player game has been improved. Now you can embark on an adventure that's a whole game unto itself. 3D graphics? We'll take a good side-scroller any day. Super Smash Bros. Melee has instantly become a multiplayer classic. With its frantic fun and vast character menu, this title will offer hours of enjoyment to even those jaded video game players who think Nintendo's just for the kiddies. Ready to pick a fight? Our number 2 fighting game of the year goes to yet another super sequel, Tekken 4 on the PlayStation 2. If you've played any of the previous installments, there's very little you need to know going in. It's 2 fighters enter, 1 fighter leads gaming in its purest form. Fortunately, the souped-up graphics and level designs make this the best-looking Tekken game yet. Gamers will have access to 20 fighters and 3 new selectable characters, each with their own distinct fighting style. Most of the usual tournament variations are here, from tournament mode to time attack to survivor mode. Though we would have liked a few more surprises, there's no denying that the Tekken series still packs a punch. If you're looking to pick a fight on the PS2, you've come to the right place. The ancient art of fighting video games says every console must have one. So for Xbox owners, here comes the latest installment of the DOA franchise, kicking its way to the top as the best fighting game of the year. It's Dead or Alive 3. Already having gained notoriety for its well-rendered female characters, this DOA title surprised the industry by displaying some amazing graphics and innovative fighting features. The rich textures and colors give the game a look and feel that will please most anime fans, while the recreation of 15 different fighting styles, including ninjutsu, pro wrestling, and jeet kune do, are sure to delight hand-to-hand combat enthusiasts. Another feature that sets this series apart from the others is the fully interactive environments, which allow you to use your surroundings as a weapon. One well-placed kick and your opponent takes a nasty fall. One express elevator to pain, going down. You can be sure that falls like this don't bode well for the old health meter. While you'll hardly break a sweat in the game's story mode, Dead or Alive 3 is packed with enough features to keep things interesting long after completion. Besides the usual competition mode allowing you to take on a friend, there's Tag Team, which allows for some 2-on-2 action, Time Mode to test your speed, and a Survival Mode pitting you against a constant onslaught of challengers. Dead or Alive 3 is everything a fighting game should be, and at the same time serves as a bold example of the Xbox's graphical power. The characters' diverse styles are fun to master, and the environments shatter the current competition. How long will this title reign supreme as current champ? Only time and hours of physical violence will tell. In the meantime, we can all look forward to the upcoming Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball title due out in the near future. Welcome back to part 2 of Cybernet. We begin this half with Cybernet's 5 favorite military games. This genre was red hot in 2002, and our number 5 pick goes to Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon for the PC and Xbox. This elite team is made up of Green Berets who are trained in the latest in war technology and tactics. They are known to attack swiftly, silently, and invisibly, hence their name, Ghost. The game forgoes close-quarter combat for open battlefield action. The result is a brilliant mix of first-person shooter and real-time strategy that should have players glued to their screens for hours. After a thorough debriefing, we think Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon adds some brains to the mindless first-person shooter. Coming in at number 4 in the military genre is a game that contains a heavy dose of realism by incorporating fairly recent world events into its story. It's Conflict Desert Storm for the PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 2. While you first start off as a lone soldier on a search and rescue mission, it won't be long before you're commanding a whole team. Each soldier will have his own specialty, and it will be your responsibility to call on them at the precise moments to guarantee the mission's success. Overall, the graphics are a bit blocky, which contradicts the game's otherwise realistic tone, but the smooth gameplay made us quickly forget the game's visual imperfections. There's just something satisfying about taking an enemy gun nest, which is why Conflict Desert Storm is our number 4. Storming its way up to number 3 in our military top 5 is the authentic World War II first-person shooter Medal of Honor Allied Assault for the PC. Like a scene out of the Dirty Dozen movie, the first level starts off with a sneak attack on a German base where you must rescue a prisoner. We then move to the back of a Jeep for a little demolition work with the help of a good old trusty M60 machine gun. After that, you'll steal a German uniform for a little undercover espionage and then storm the Nazi beaches to fight for freedom for one and all. You'll practically feel the breeze of the bullets whizzing by as you and your brothers in arms take the Axis head-on in one of the most immersive titles we've ever experienced in a video game. We expected simply just another entertaining title, but Medal of Honor Allied Assault is much more. Our number 2 military pick is quite possibly the biggest armed forces recreation yet. Follow our lead as we unleash Battlefield 1942 for the PC. You'll fight as either Axis or Ally in a game that completely immerses you in the experience. You can roll through the streets of Berlin in a mighty tank and even defend your army in an airplane. And with levels as big as these, you'll find the vehicles are not merely a novelty, but are absolutely a necessity. How else are you and your comrades going to overtake the opposition's territory? With the addition of an awesome multiplayer mode, Battlefield 1942 is an epic World War II title we couldn't recommend more. And holding on is our #1 military game of the year. It's one of Cybernet's all-time favorites, Return to Castle Wolfenstein for the PC. Before Quake, before Doom, there was Wolfenstein. The first game, called Wolfenstein 3D, defined the genre as the original first-person shooter. Many games have followed in its wake since, improving graphics and enemy AI to the point where it was only a matter of time before there was a, return to Castle Wolfenstein. The game has been given a total makeover from its humble but groundbreaking beginnings. Atmospheric backgrounds and the game's brilliantly moody atmosphere make for one of the most immersive shooters to come around in quite some time. You play as Army Ranger B.J. Blazkowicz, who's sent on a deadly mission by President Roosevelt to stop a Nazi plot to reanimate the dead. You'll have to use every weapon at your disposal to win the day and the war. Are you up for the challenge? We hope so, because freedom is at stake. But what really makes a PC shooter these days is the online game, and Wolfenstein has one of the best yet. Players can choose to fight for either the Axis or Allies in a team-based battle to end all team-based battles. We must admit we've spent countless hours playing the online game long after the Cybernet offices have closed for the night. We award Wolfenstein the Congressional Medal of Longevity. Incredible graphics, brilliant gameplay, and an ingenious online game will have you riveted to this title long after the single-player mission is accomplished. It may have explosions aplenty, but Return to Castle Wolfenstein is about as far from a bomb as you can get. That's why it's our #1 military game of the year. Well done. We at Cybernet love a good scare. That's why we decided to end our show with our top 5 horror games of the year. And our #5 choice goes to the hauntingly creepy Silent Hill 2 Restless Dreams for the Xbox. Players take the role of James Sunderland, who after receiving a mysterious letter from his wife, is beckoned to Silent Hill. The catch is she's been deceased for several years, so it's off to the unhappiest place on Earth for some answers. Silent Hill 2 relies more on atmosphere rather than cheap shocks. The result is a fright-filled tour de force that could have a negative impact on your sleeping schedule. Sharpen your stakes and pass out the holy water. Our #4 horror pick belongs to Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the Xbox. Players will perform all sorts of grisly yet cool maneuvers to send the dead back to their graves. The combat engine is first-rate, effectively recreating the show's trademark fight scenes with the same dramatic flair and frights that's made the show a cult favorite. Like Buffy, you'll be able to take on multiple opponents at one time. Clearly, Buffy has no problems when it comes to dishing out the pain on the creatures of the night. The game features some of the most fluid fighting combos we've ever seen, with crisp enemy AI to keep things challenging. Buffy should have a long demon-slaying life in video game form for years to come. Scaring its way into our #3 horror spot is the frightfully good Resident Evil for the GameCube. In a secluded house, a series of top-secret biotech experiments have gone horribly awry. 2 rescue squads led by Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine are sent in to investigate. They soon realize the mysterious mansion is filled with the unimaginable, the Walking Dead. Much of your time will be spent solving puzzles, which will provide necessary weaponry and gadgets while also allowing you to escape from harrowing traps. So it's vital that you carry the correct items and weapons for any particular task. All this combines to create one very challenging and horrifying experience. Resident Evil certainly scared us. Oh yeah, especially that giant snake. Our #2 horror game gave us the creeps on the PC, Xbox, and PS2. Watch out, here comes The Thing. You play the role of a search and rescue leader who's investigating the events of the 1982 film. The game immediately immerses you by recreating the aftermath of the movie's climax, complete with the elements familiar to anyone who considers themselves a Thing fan. For better and sometimes worse, you won't be alone in your mission. You'll have to manage a team, each with their own specialties, that will be vital if you're going to navigate through the labyrinth of destruction left in the Thing's wake. The Thing thoroughly terrified us, as there are some truly legitimate scares. Don't play our number 2 horror pick without the lights on. But our number 1 favorite horror game of the year that scared us silly is Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem for the GameCube. The game centers on the Roivas family and its ties to an ancient book called the Tome of Eternal Darkness. At the outset, we're introduced to Alexandra Roivas, who is summoned back to the family estate to solve the murder of her deceased grandfather. Slowly, she unravels the mystery which stretches back through 20 centuries. Each of the 12 playable characters has their own specialties and objectives, but to progress, they all need to solve puzzles and battle the undead. Fortunately, they won't be empty-handed because each will have use of various weapons authentic to their time period, ranging from simple swords to crossbows. Along the way, you'll acquire several powerful magical spells which can be used to restore health or enhance objects. Meanwhile, the creepy atmosphere is amplified by the use of the sanity system. When you come across unsightly manifestations of evil, your character's sanity meter is drained, which leads to some truly mind-bending surprises.
This can't be happening.
The graphics are magnificent, highlighted by deep multi-layered textures and amazing ambient lighting. Each environment is impressive and varied, setting a distinctive mood. And the characters also move and react differently. There are many unique aspects to this title. For example, when fighting in hand-to-hand combat, there's an interesting targeting system that allows you to concentrate on a specific body part. Add to this a silky smooth camera system and an easy-to-use interface, and you have the makings of a very polished title. Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem is a triumph, seamlessly blending a deep and twisting story with creative and creepy gameplay. The development team at Silicon Knights should be applauded for producing the year's best horror title. And there you have it, some of our favorite games in 4 of the hottest gaming genres of the year. We've got to run, but Cybernet will be back soon with even more fantastic games and features from around the world. Don't forget to keep in touch via email, and don't forget to try our competition. So until next time, here's more frantic fighting action from Dead or Alive 3, compliments of Cybernet.